Match number 22 of the Tata IPL 2025, and we once again return to the Mulanpur. Back-to-back games for the Punjab Kings, and their home win jinx continues, just like RCBs are there. These two franchisees who have never won the IPL, I'm sorry to say, but they're not able to make their home their fortress. I have Utsav with me, who's an RCB fan, and he can describe it better. Utsav, it's Punjab versus CSK. Both the teams are coming from a defeat, but if you're a fan of CSK, I must tell you, coming from a hat trick of defeats. I think how many often have we said that? I don't know. But thoughts on this game? How much do you think it's important for both the teams and also their past result? Because Punjab coming from a defeat and CSK also coming from a defeat against the Delhi Capitals.
Looking at CSK in this kind of a situation is very rare sight, I would say. I think the closest they have come to a poor season might be the 2020 season, or maybe the 2022 season where Jadeja was the
Correct.
captain for half the
Correct.
season. But this team honestly looks way less promising to me as those two other seasons, considering they had the team back then. But this time, I'm not quite sure even like do they even have the team or not. In the first around I guess 12, 13 seasons of the IPL, CSK was not a human team. CSK was like a superpower, the definition of dominance,
Mhm.
and we would just say that seven teams play IPL to play the finals, against CSK. That does not seem to be the case ever since the COVID days.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
yeah, and even when CSK was a top side, we would say that Punjab Kings is one of those sides who sometimes get the better of this side. We call it the bogey teams. So Punjab is the bogey team of CSK. But now the tables have turned. Punjab looks a way more formidable side than CSK,
True.
and let us see what is there to offer.
100%. But you said about CSK this time around, lack of intent, a lot of things, bowling, fielding, the picks they have made in the auction. But three names I want to say, did they lose it in the auction table? Did they lost their mind? Because if you pick in your side, I understand you find yourself picking up very experienced players. There were talks about maybe James Anderson was supposed to be picked by Chennai Super Kings in the IPL auction. But three names: Vijay Shankar, Rahul Tripathi, Deepak Huda. Three names who does not fit in any of the franchisee in this format. What's your thought on that? Those three players who've already performed at least once in the team. You might say Vijay Shankar scored a half century in the previous game, but of what use?
Yeah, that was of no use at all. They were chasing a huge target, and at no point after the wicket after Shivam Dube got out, I think the chase
He's
was
the
off.
only
Uh,
batter. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And looking at these three sides, if after after the auction, you would think that CSK has had a habit of making players out of unproven players, or the players who are off the scoring sheets. We recently have seen the example of Shivam Dube. He was not good at all for RCB, but the moment he joined CSK, he just changed. It just turned around. Same with Ajinkya Rahane. He had a
yeah.
bad season with KKR, a couple of bad seasons before that. He was not that as good as for rising Pune Super
Pune
Giants
Super
and
Giants. Yeah.
RR before that. But then the moment he came to CSK, he got the number 4 role, and again he started scoring a lot of runs. So this franchise has a history of making players out of players who haven't performed, or the what media would call finished. But this time around, I think you can call it a lack of a misjudgment in scouting. You can call it a mistake probably, or maybe we just have to be patient, and maybe these three guys will actually end up scoring runs for the franchise. But to be honest, at the moment, it does not seem to be the case.
It does not, definitely, it does not seem to be honest in terms of Chennai Super Kings. We'll discuss more about both the teams. But firstly, let's take a look at the head to head between Punjab and Chennai in terms of the last five appearances. As you rightly mentioned before, Punjab is no more a bogey team in terms of in this format, at least in the last few years. In terms of last five appearances, CSK won it the last time. Before that, four in a row, it was dominated by the Punjab Kings. If you talk about head to head, it's coming neck to neck now. 30 appearances between these two teams. CSK winning it 16, while Punjab winning it 14. It becomes so neck to neck now. It can
Yeah.
possibly be 15 to 16 at the end of this game as well. But I want to ask you one more player at this moment. We said about three players from Chennai Super Kings. We have witnessed four games already for the Chennai Super Kings. They were very excited to get an experienced magician in the side in the name of Ravichandran Ashwin. It is fitting him into the side, but even if he performs, doesn't performs, we all know he's going to play all the games. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on Ash has been very clear from probably a decade, I think. Ever since he has gone out of the Indian setup, like he came back in between in a couple of World Cups, but he was still not a part of the Indian T20 setup. He played the World Cups, but he was not quite the part of the setup. Uh, I honestly I'm not a big fan of Ravichandran Ashwin in the T20 format. And he was a very important part of Rajasthan Royals, and he was giving
True.
his performances,
And also
for
before
Rajasthan
that for the
Royals.
Delhi Capitals, I must say, because
Yes, and even before
those
that, he
part
was a
of
part of
Ashwin
Punjab.
was good. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he was as a captain for Punjab. I would say, yeah. I mean, he has a good captaincy brain, but at this time of his career, where given
International
himself up as
cricket.
an international player, he retired from all formats of the game, and now I think they have paid around 9 crores to get Ravichandran Ashwin in this setup. Probably the thinking would have been the 7 games at Chepauk, but at the
Hmm.
moment, nothing seems to be working for them. Considering they have lost 2 games at Chepauk. I think has they lost? Yeah, they have lost 2 games at
They've
Chepauk.
lost
One
two.
at
Yeah,
and one against Mumbai Indians. So
correct.
things are not going well for them, and these things, having Ravichandran Ashwin in there, having Vijay Shankar in the middle order, when MS Dhoni is not able to contribute, even Jadeja is not going to not able to
Correct.
contribute. After probably the first 3 guys and Shivam Dubey, I think the team just gives up all hopes.
100%. I think they have somehow, because this was bound to happen, they somehow found both the Kiwis playing together in the same 11. I think that's the right decision because Sam Curran was not performing. It was
Yeah.
harsh, but you had to leave out Jamie Overton from the previous game because you had to get the combination right into the side. All eyes are constantly on Mahendra Singh Dhoni because he's unable to perform. I think the time has come, but when is going to be the time up? We don't know. When is it going to be? Definitely yes for Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But the last game, we saw his parents being at the stadium. Do you think this season could be definitely yes for Tala?
I am not very sure about that, considering we could have said this probably 5 years back as well. 2020 was supposedly going to be maybe the last season, but then it went on to 2021, 2022, 2023. They won it. The most fair,
Absolutely,
like fairy tale ending.
I constantly say this. 2023, after
Yeah.
winning the cup at Ahmedabad, that was the best time for him to retire, but he did not.
Yeah, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I think he is on the track of maybe losing some of his legacy if things continue the way they are. Considering if you come out to bat in the 12th over, the 13th over, and just 4 or 5 wickets have fallen, you cannot just
Correct.
give in the chase. Like especially when you have an impact player role, and teams even after losing 7 wickets do not lose hope. They still go around bashing and try to come as close to target as possible. But the last game, that was probably a huge question mark on the CSK setup. The moment Shivam Dubey got out, Vijay Shankar showed no intent to score runs. Neither did MS Dhoni, and even Jadeja got out, very cheaply.
Correct.
Even Jadeja has been in the later stage. Not You cannot call it later stages. He's probably just around the full stop mark of his career as well.
True.
Ashwin is beyond that,
And
I would say. MS Dhoni is beyond that, I would say. This is not a great sight for CSK.
true that I agree with this point, but whenever Dhoni says that I'm done with it, I think very soon we might see Ashwin and Jadeja doing the same because they have played together for a long time in this franchise, and I expect that to happen. But thoughts on the pitch report of Mulanpur? Let's take a look at that. Six matches have been played at this venue. Three times the team batting first has been victorious compared to three times the team chasing. Last time, RR breached the 200-run mark at this venue, and it was a massive ask for the Punjab Kings to chase it down. They unfortunately couldn't. You think that if you're batting first or bowling first, no problems. If you're batting first, 200 plus, and then more or less you're winning the game.
Yes, I think ever since probably the first 5 6 games of this season of the IPL, a little bit of normalcy has returned. The bowlers have come back into the game.
True,
Scores are
true.
getting defended, and we are not seeing those obnoxious 240 to 50 run games anymore.
Is it
Probably the
because
moment SRH comes back in
Sunrisers?
form, yeah,
Yes.
probably the moment SRH comes back in form, we'll again see those mountain totals. But as for now, in a game where CSK and Punjab are involved, I would say that the team batting first, if they have a total in place, probably a 180, 190, or even a 200, I think both the teams have the bowling to defend it.
True that both the teams do have the bowling to defend a certain total, but both the teams, more than Punjab, I must say, Chennai's middle order, lower middle order, lack of firepower. And unfortunately, I have to say that including Mahendra Singh Dhoni, lack of firepower in their lower middle order to get the job done, to chase down the total, which is asking rate is above 12 runs per over. That's what fact says in terms of this season around for the men in yellow. Time for strategic timeout section. All eyes on Utsav now. Utsav, 4 questions, 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Which skipper do you think will score more runs tomorrow? Ruturaj Gaikwad or Shreyas Iyer?
At New Chandigarh, I would fancy Shreyas Iyer scoring more runs. Considering the last game he played, he was not quite ready for the Jofra Archer pace out there, but he is
Absolutely.
looking pretty fantastic throughout the first 3 games of the season so far. I would go with Shreyas Iyer.
Okay. Which spinner do you think will pick more wickets? Yuzvendra Chahal or Ravichandran Ashwin?
Yadavindra Chahal.
Which all-rounder will hit more sixes, Shivam Dube or Glenn Maxwell?
Shivam Dube is not quite there this time as of now. I would probably go with even picking Glenn Maxwell is a curveball. Yeah, I'll go with Shivam Dube.
Okay, average first inning scored, no matter which teams bat first, giving you a difference of 15.
185.
185 to 200 mark is what you're saying. Fair
Yeah.
enough. So your 4 questions are answered inside the timeline. Thanks a lot for that, Utsav. We'll see at the end of the day how many do you get correct. But let's move on to the players to watch out for. Three players to watch out for. For Punjab, I'm going with Prabsimran Singh, Shreyas Iyer and Shashank Singh. For CSK, I'm going for Devon Conway, Shivam Dube and Matisha Patirana. Unfortunately, I'm not trusting the Indian players, especially the two all-rounders of CSK. Your thoughts on that? Any changes from both the sides?
From Punjab's point of view, yeah, Prabsimran is long due for runs. At last
Correct.
2 games, he has given a bit of confidence, but he just doesn't seem to be out there. Like he's not that consistent of a player as much what we have seen over the years. I think this is his 4th season with Punjab, or maybe the 3rd season with Punjab. I'm not quite sure about Prabsimran versus Khalil. Again, Khalil has been on top of his game.
True.
So one player to watch out for will be Khalil Ahmed for CSK, and I might not have Prabsimran in there. I might go with Yuzi Chahal. He has been the most consistent of players. Yeah, he has been the most consistent of players over the years in the IPL. The leading wicket taker, and the last 3 games have not gone in his favor. So
if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 games he has not finished his quota as well.
Yes, he hasn't.
That's concerning because he's a top player and he's a match winner on the given day, one of the leading wicket takers as well in the IPL. But you've given your thoughts about the players to watch out for. Time to move on to the battles as well. Here are my 3 picks in terms of battles. Arshdeep Singh versus Devon Conway is my battle number 1. Yadavindra Chahal versus Shivam Dube is my battle number 2. I'm going for Noor Ahmed versus Shreyas Iyer as my battle number 3. Are you also considering saying that Khalil versus Prabsimran is another battle? Any different from
that? Khalil versus Prabsimran will be one of my picks. Not even Prabsimran. I would also add Priyansh Arya in there. The way he started in the first game, fizzled out a bit in the next couple of games. But I have a good feeling about the third, about this one. Apart from that, Arshdeep versus Conway is going to be a good battle. Conway is a good player of pace, and Arshdeep, probably the greatest Indian fast bowler when it comes to new ball bowling. If you put, you put him alongside a Bhuvneshwar Kumar maybe, or Deepak Chahar as well. Next 2 are very interesting considering both Shivam Dube and Shreyas Iyer are great players of spin. Having said that, Shivam Dube has not been up to the mark in this season of the IPL so far, even against spin. I think he has lost his wicket a couple of times to spinners.
Is it because whenever he's coming out to bat, the expectation is always high, the asking rate is also always high? Is it because?
Absolutely. That has to be an issue because Shivam Dube is a free-flowing kind of a player. I don't think that you should put him under any kind of a pressure. Considering, every time. Okay, I'll give you an instance. The game against RCB, probably Sam Curran batted ahead of him, and by the time he came into bat, the required rate was already 12. Yeah, by the time he came out, the required rate was already 12. Shivam Dube has had an incredible record against RCB, and sitting in the Chepauk stands, I was worried that Shivam Dube will come out and take the game away from us as he usually does.
And how was the scene? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like you said now, and I recall that you were at Chepauk. How was the scene when Thala walked out to bat?
Oh, the audience went berserk, man. The crowd was yelling, and even the most surprising part was the moment Dube got out. I was like, okay, now the crowd is going to scream, but nobody did. And then I checked the screen and I saw Ravichandran Ashwin came out to bat. I was like, oh my god. That was quite a surprising moment for me considering MS Dhoni 1, Shivam Dube the 2nd, Ravindra Jadeja the 3rd. These 3 players are the ones who usually take the game away from CSK, away from RCB against when we play CSK. But this time around, it just felt like CSK are trying to protect these players. That probably showed kind of a defensive kind of a mentality which you do not associate with CSK. That is very surprising.
Correct. Absolutely. When that run out occurred of Ravindra Jadeja getting in, and then we knew that it couldn't be Noor Ahmed coming in ahead of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. We said the fans went berserk. But at the end of the day, CSK lost. A couple of big hits were there. What was your thought? Because the fans were cheering, as we can hear from the television.
The fans were cheering probably by the time the game ended. I think Krunal Pandya was the one who bowled the 20th over, and Dhoni hit him for a couple of boundaries and a 6.
Correct.
And they were very happy. So even the RCB fans were happy, CSK fans were happy. It was a win-win situation for all. We took the 2 points, we came back. Absolute perfect outing.
Okay. So it matters for both the teams. RCB wanted 2 points. Utsav came back home happy because he saw that RCB breached the Chepauk jinx after so many years. I think since 2008 you were trying that. Eventually made it after 17 long years. Time for predicted playing 11 time. Let's take a look into that, starting with the home side, Punjab Kings. I think it's an unchanged 11 because I think team looks good. Lockie Ferguson steaming in and bowling some thunderbolts with some serious pace. I'm going with an unchanged 11. Your thoughts on that, Utsav?
Yeah, I don't see panic buttons being hit. Just after one loss, I think they had a big total up, in front of them, and this team also, a newly formed team, and Joffrey Archer picking two early wickets of the two of a
Correct.
captain, and one was the inexperienced opener. The setback was too big, and then Prab Simran succumbed to the pressure as well. Even Marcus Stoinis could not get going, and hence the game was already lost in the power play.
Correct.
Shashank and Maxwell and Vadera tried to pull it back, but the moment Maxwell got out, the game was set.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So this,
in terms of that, I want to differ one thing. In the playing 11, Surya Shegde is there. I am not sure what role is his in this side. Can we see Nihal Vadera instead of playing as an impact player straight away come into the 11? And then you can think about your impact play, maybe an Harpreet Brar who's not been used so far in the tournament. He can come in. Vishnu, we know there's another solid batter we have seen for the Mumbai Indians. Or else you can have Surya Shegde.
yeah, I think Suryan Shegde, forget Suryan Shegde, even Shashank Singh has not been coming out at a particular number. Even Nehal Vadera was brought in, I think, against.
In the previous game against Rajasthan Royals.
No, even the game before that, when the game was easily being chased against Lucknow Super Giants, Shashank could have come out to play, but Nehal was introduced ahead of him as an impact player. So I'm not quite sure what the role of Shashank is, and then Suryansh comes even later. So
Correct.
by the time if Suryansh is coming out to bat, probably he will have nothing to play for. The game would already be finished.
That's the
Or if
reason
he's
why I
coming out
said
too
that
early,
you can
yeah,
either have Nihal or maybe an Harpreet Brar
yeah,
because Charl is not working so far. So a lot of
yes.
responsibilities there on the shoulders of Glenn Maxwell to roll his arm over. Similarly, talking about Chennai Super Kings, let's take a look into the predicted 11. Unchanged 11, I'm going because things are not working well. But there's one change, I think, in this side that Mukesh Chaudhary did not work out well in the previous game. He dropped a few catches too. I'm going for Anshul Kamboj. I want to see him this time around leading the side in the bowling attack alongside Khalil Ahmed. Shared the new ball. Maybe he can strike as well.
Wasn't it surprising to see Mukesh Chaudhary get a chance ahead of Anshul
Even
Kamboj?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and even in the last season of the IPL, Mukesh bowled just one over. I think got hit for 20 odd runs and then did not play the rest of the games. This time around, he got an opportunity, played one game, did not have a great outing, might be dropped again. So this
Yep.
is something that we do not necessarily associate with CSK. The kind of chopping and changing. Uh, this CSK setup is probably the most alien CSK setup that I have known that I've
True,
known over
true.
the years. A lot of words, a lot of statements coming out. Ruturaj having his words, Stephen Fleming giving his press conferences about MSD. Just does not. It just seems like a battle of words than a battle of actions for CSK this
True,
time
true,
around.
true.
Uh, Even though some of the players are doing well, Pathirana in the death overs is bowling really well. Khalil with the new ball is bowling really well. Noor Ahmed is controlling the game really well in the
Yeah.
middle overs. But
I
it is
am
the battle,
surprised that in Indian conditions you're expecting wickets from Noor Ahmed than Ravichandran Ashwin
right?
or Jadeja.
Right. And the bowling will is fine. I think the even though okay, one more point that I would like to add is that the last day game which they played, the game against Delhi Capitals, it was assumed that Jadeja, Ashwin, and Noor Ahmed are going to control the game, bowl the
Correct.
12 overs. But I guess they bowled 8 overs and they got hit
Correct.
for some 79 runs, got one wicket. Noor Ahmed got that one wicket. Did not look like
The captaincy is also not working out for Ruturaj Gaikwad, I must tell you. I
yeah.
don't know how much guidance he's getting from Mahindra Singh Dhoni behind the stumps, but as you said, it's a very, very broken Chennai Super Kings side, and I will not be surprised if they do not make it to the playoffs this time around.
Yeah.
Predictions time, putting Utsav into the hot seat. Let's take a look at that. Match number 22, Punjab versus Chennai at Mulanpur Utsav. Over to you. Both teams are coming from a defeat. Your percentage for this game?
I would like to give CSK the respect that they deserve. Considering if they play the way they are going nowhere. I would still give them a 40% to win the game, considering all the weightage that the name CSK carries. I would give 60% towards Punjab.
Okay, 60-40 to Punjab. He's saying a little bit of respect towards the men in yellow. Otherwise, could have been in the 20s in terms of predictions.
Yeah.
60-40 to the home side. Shreyas Iyer needs to get back in form. He's in good touch, but his team needs to get back in winning ways. We'll see that. Thank you so much, Utsa. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Number. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much.